Volunteers from Herefordshire are planning another trip to Dunkirk to take aid and donations to people living in the migrant camp there. The city's Rotary Club is hoping to collect donations from the community to take to the French coast, where 3,000 people are currently living in conditions which doctors have described as life-threatening.
Well, a new camp at Dunkirk, capable of holding up to 8,000 migrants, has just been opened by the town's Green Party mayor and the charity Médecins Sans Frontières, so Doctors Without Borders. The new site, where refugees will receive hot meals, showers and sanitary facilities, cost £3 million to build and is expected to cost more than £1 million a year to keep open. Well, Luke Conod is from the City of Hereford Rotary Club. Morning to you, Luke.
Morning both. Hi.
So, how many volunteers will be going to Dunkirk then?
I'll try to sort of give you a bit of background on what we've been up to. We've been working with a couple of ex-servicemen and the Mayor-elect, Jim Kenyon, also our Interact Club at the Hereford Academy and Saxon Hall down in Hinton. And the first trip was earlier on in January, and then subsequently the two guys have done two further trips to take blankets to the families in the refugee camps in Dunkirk and Calais. So, as you say, we've done the three trips so far, and the two guys who are both ex-servicemen, both fought in Afghanistan and in that side of the world, have seen for their own eyes the genuine need of the families in the camps. And so we're preparing for the fourth trip now, which is going to be on April the 8th.
So, Luke, you're off to Dunkirk, aren't you? Which is because most people, the one that probably most people are aware of is the one in Calais, isn't it? Which is the jungle. I mean, is because they were dismantling that. Is that completely gone now, and everyone's gone to Dunkirk? What's the situation over there now?
The Dunkirk one, I'm not au fait with all the details exactly, but I know that the new Dunkirk one that they've just opened, as you said, has got some really good facilities, and I say really good facilities. Facilities we take for granted: running water and toilets, and somewhere warm and dry to sleep, so that we're not standing in 3 foot of water holding our baby so they don't drown. I think they are slowly moving people across to those camps.
And is that the camp that you volunteers are going to? They're going to the new one in Dunkirk?
The boys before have been into both Calais and Dunkirk, so they've seen the horrific conditions for themselves. This time we're going into the new camp to Dunkirk, so that because we're working with Amnesty International on this one as well, so that we can see the new facilities and come back and tell the story about what difference the UK government and other European governments are making by putting money in to help these people.
Luke, when you're out and about in Herefordshire collecting, what kind of reaction do you get?
The reaction I get is very positive.
From everybody?
From everyone I've spoke to, bar, I would say, one or two people. And to be honest, they tend to be the sort that haven't read up on the information, if that makes sense. Because you have to bear in mind, no matter what the circumstances are of how these people ended up where they are, all I know is, and all the people I speak to, and all these guys that have been out there and actually seen it, is they've taken huge risks, travelled thousands of miles, left their homes, left their schools, and everything they know to get away from a regime and war. And no matter what you think, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want to help children and families to starve, children and families that are starving less than 25 miles away from England.
Luke, why this is a question that whenever we talk about this, we always get this question. So I'm sort of putting it to you because obviously you've been to the camps and you've spoken to people.
I haven't been to the camps, but
you know lots of people. You know lots of people who have been, don't you?
I've spoken to the guys that have been.
Yeah.
To the camps.
So why is it when they're in a safe country?
Yeah.
Are they so desperate to come to the UK?
Well, if you look at it, most of them aren't. Germany's taken over 1 million refugees. France has taken masses. Greece have taken masses. Italy have taken masses.
But there are still lots of people who are on the northern French border trying to get to the UK.
Absolutely.
So why don't they just stay in the country they're in? Is the question that is constantly asked.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And most of them have. If you look at it, about 90% of them have stayed in Europe. But there are a percentage that want to come to the UK. Most of these people are doctors, lawyers, accountants. They're educated people, and I would imagine it'll be that English is their first language. second language, so they can speak the language. You can imagine my French is very poor, but I speak a little bit of French, and if I was a refugee, I would probably want to go to a French-speaking country because
you could get by.
I could get by.
So it's just down to the language.
Yeah, I would think it's just getting by. It's survival.
Okay.
I can't. I'm sitting here in my house in comfortable Herefordshire with the central heating on, a nice warm cup of tea in front of me, and all pictures of my family around me. I can't imagine what it would be like to get up, put a rucksack on my back, and leave everything I know, understand, and walk away from it. Can you?
No, when you put it like that, it absolutely makes perfect sense. Luke, good to speak to you. Luke Conod from the City of Hereford Rotary Club, collecting to take aid to Dunkirk. And, they'll be out collecting over the Easter weekend as well. 13 minutes to 8 now. It's Elliot and Tony, and it's BBC Hereford and Worcester Breakfast.